Wonderful, of course, shamanic vixens and harlots, freaks and ghouls out there, of course, is me, Ulrich Obscura. And I'm so tired. I'm so very tired. No, I'm a hot mess, guys. But welcome to the debut of me being, of course, what they call me, like a PNG tuber, Vtuber, whatever. No, but how you guys doing? I hope you're enjoying this wonderful afternoon. Before I go and do the errands for the day, as you can see, that's why I have my coffee cup. It gives me energy. You know, I'm joking, guys. I just like how tired I look. I haven't slept in 200 years. No, but I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Since this is an introduction stream, let me introduce myself. Of course, I am Auric Obscura. I am what you would call a gothic variety streamer. So pretty much these are my specialties. I love doing let's play of gothic and horror games. Sometimes I'll go into the realm of visual novels and those type of things, hidden object games. I'm just a cozy gamer, hence why I have this hoodie on. No, I gotta stay comfortable, bros. No. But that's pretty much what I like doing. So that's the first half. Shamanic Goth as a program will also focus on, I love doing like oracle readings. I do tarot readings and stuff. But I do it from the perspective of being what's called a clair tangent reader. So my readings are based on the emotions that I feel when I'm, doing the card spread and doing the card reading. So I have a lot of fun with it. So that is something else that you will also see here on the program. Another thing you will see here on the program too, for sure, is I'm a creative baddie. So I like to do like grayscale coloring, but we keep it goth here. So skulls and the gothic ladies and all of that. Just really fun, spooky, kooky kind of art. I also, from time to time, I do like talking about like short dramas and things like that. So I will talk about that from time to time. So that's what you can expect. The schedule for the show, it will follow in the following way. So I stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So you get to see my gothic ugly ass face, and I'm like, so you'll get to see me twice today. I normally stream in the evenings around 8:30 ish, but sometimes that may vary just because I do deal with, unfortunately, autoimmune type issues, and I have a condition that's called PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I sometimes deal with like tiredness and fatigue and all of that stuff. So, all right, my wonderful freaks and ghouls, it is time to play this game called The Test, okay? So the test is it's just a way for you guys to get to know me as a streamer, but it's a series of games where, and I see why they're popular for that reason. Like this game, like it makes you keep it real with yourself, and you learn like more perspectives about yourself, opinions you may have. So I thought this was an appropriate game for me to start with. Um, but yeah, so what we'll be doing, this will be part one. But you will answer a series of questions. This comes off of the Steam page for it. You will answer a series of questions that will reveal truths from within. These questions may make you uncomfortable, so viewer discretion advised. This is a game that keeps it real, so some of these questions might get a little spicy. A little spicy, you know what I'm saying? Okay. You know me, guys. Just hoeing it up. You already know. No. I digress, though. But with great knowledge comes great sacrifice. Can you make it all the way through the test? And if you do, are you sure you want the answers you seek? So, without further ado, my fellow ghouls and freaks out there, and my lovely shamanic baddies, it is time to play the test. No. With my basic ass. Okay, so they do have other games outside of the test series. They have one that is free too, but they make really fun like visual novel, or they have some like RPG element kind of, games like that too, which are pretty rad. All right, so let's start here. We're gonna do new game, and yeah, let's go. Let's rock and roll. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, isn't this a lovely scene? Ah, oh, what a lovely scene. No, it's horrible. Now, in order to begin, this is the most important part of this entire experience. You will be asked a series of questions, and you must answer them honestly. Now, when I say honestly, I don't mean answer them how you would like to answer them. Answer them with truth, even if it's hard to face. We all want to be good people. We rarely want to admit our faults, our grievances, or mistakes. But you must decide what you truly want. Do you want this to work properly? Do you want the truth about yourself, your destiny in this world? Or would you rather live a lie, just to hide from yourself? The process is very simple. In theory, just answer a long series of questions. What's difficult is self-analyzing your own psyche to evaluate the truths in your own mind and life so you can predict your future. You see, for as long as you're honest with these questions and answers, you'll be able to see your own future here. This will tell you things you already know, but don't necessarily know that you know. As long as the answers you provide to the questions are asked with 100% honest and true, this process will simply unlock a part of your mind that you do not have natural access to. This isn't psychic. This isn't a personality test. This is simply nature. This is you. This is your own mind. This is simply nature taking its course. This is the human brain at work, unlocking hidden truths within yourself. While attempting to answer many of these questions, you'll often wonder things like, well, this answer depends on the circumstances. Create your own circumstances in your mind and answer the questions with a simple yes or no as you seek fit. You may not understand nor realize it, but your mind will develop the situation required to answer your question the way it needs to be answered. I invite you to grab a drink of water, sit back, relax, and enjoy. the experience. We are about to begin a series of questions, and provided that you are a willing participant, you will be unlocking some substantial information today. Well, here we go. Do you believe that you always treat others fairly? Nah, sometimes I can be an asshole. As you can see, why I have a hoodie on. No, I'm playing. No, but truthfully though, yeah, that's something I need to work on. For me, I got bullied and teased a lot growing up, so I had like to develop a little bit of like asshole tendencies. To protect my emotions, and that's not always a good time to make friends, and things like that was very difficult for me, especially being a goth and liking things like Dracula, stuff like that. So I would say no, because sometimes I would be a bitch just to protect myself. So um yeah, I would say, that's part of human nature. It kind of sucks, but yeah, not everybody's gonna like you guys. It sucks. It really does. Like for me, deep inside my gothic heart, I am a compassionate person, but I've just had to learn throughout the years that people will take advantage of your kindness if you allow them to. And for me, the way that I treat people fairly is by observing their words and actions. So I would say no. That sometimes I treat people fairly based on my observations of how they treat me. Do you believe that everyone should always be treated equally? Yeah, I do believe that. But here's the thing, guys. Now, this question is kind of hard, right? Because it's a neutral answer. Because, yeah, everyone should be treated fairly. But let's keep it real, right? Depending on your attractiveness level, how much money you have, those type of things, it can really affect how people treat you. Okay? If you come, from a place where, and don't get me wrong, if you have a lot of money, you're successful, those type of things, there are still challenges there, because sometimes you got to deal with people who might be salty or jealous of your success, even though sometimes they don't know how hard you've had to work. But then on the flip side, you know, when you've had to, like myself, you are constantly striving for excellence, and you're working your ass off, and then you're not being taken seriously, because of things like intersectionality. That can be really frustrating, and you feel like life is not fair. So I do believe that everyone should be treated equally, but not everybody gets treated equally because of their intersectionality. Have you ever invented anything? Nah, I'm a dumb bitch. I'm not that smart, so no. These questions are real, man. Gosh damn. Do you believe you are worthy of someone's time investment? I'm a whore, so probably not. No, play. I'm an asshole. No. All jokes aside, um, honestly, this is something that I'm working on, because like I said in the first part, I got bullied a lot in my life. Like, being a goth is fucking hard, guys. Like, it really is. Like, it's hard sometimes to open up, because like for me, I grew up in a time, where if you said you like the Adams Family, Ozzy Osbourne, you're into heavy metal stuff like that, like myself, you had to keep it to yourself, because it resulted in tons and tons of bullying, And I was never someone that was part of the in crowd. I've been an outsider my whole life. So I think, and being an outsider is not the only criteria, you would say, for goth culture or being a part of it. But when I talk to other fellow goths and alternative people, there is that commonality of, protecting your peace by keeping to yourself. Because, let's say it's high school or even college, you can get bullied, guys. So this is why I always tell people, this is why it's so important to join like organizations and things you vibed with, so like, you're into. So For example, myself in college, I actually um, did like anime club and stuff like that. I joined a lot of cultural clubs to just learn more about the world around me, and keeping myself as well rounded as I possibly can. But I'm still working on this because I got bullied and teased and shit like that. I sometimes feel like I'm not worthy, uh, to be like, let's say for example, to have like that circle of friends or community, or having a relationship, those type of things. Because like when you get treated differently, you start like, and of course, like I'll say a disclaimer, this is just my experience, this is not advice. So this is just, at the end of the day, what works right for you always will work, for you, because it's your life and you have to do what's right in your life, right? um but I would have to say, yeah, when it came to like relationships, stuff like that, I never felt really worthy, because I think it's just when you're a product of bullying, it can make you feel very unworthy. It can make you feel like life is just nothing but shit all the time. It's like finding joy in your life. It can be, yeah, it can be very difficult. So that's why right now I'm, going through an emotional healing journey to really find that love within myself and to know that I'm, worthy of it. So, that's why it's like it's. I think that's why I keep to myself, really, because it's just like I've dealt with half of my life being revolved around the drama of dealing with like people bullying me, not to be like that, to be like, whoa, it's me. But, I think when you get bullied or you're a constant product of that, uh, it makes you really evaluate hanging out with people or you really take your time to get to know people. So I would say no right now, because I'm still, I do shadow work and those type of things. So I know once I get to through that part of my healing journey where I feel more self confidence, I feel more self acceptance. I think this is a reason why like PNG tubing and VTubers and stuff really took the fuck off, because I think the reason why is there are some people who feel more comfortable, right? Talking through their character than actually like doing like visual kind of videos where they're showing their like face and stuff. Which I can understand, because it's like, when you are judged on how you look and how well, how you're supposed to look, like these beauty standards and all that jazz. I think it could be really hard, to even be a content creator, to be on social media, because it's like you're constantly being judged for how you look, how you talk, and all of that. So I see why a lot of people are comfortable with PNG tubers and VTubers for that reason. So yeah, I would say no. I'm still healing. Do you believe that others are always deserving of your time? No. And I know that may sound like like I'm being a bitch, but see, this is something, guys, you learn with, as you develop your emotional intelligence and you go through life experiences. Um, is not everybody is worth your time. Okay. There is a term that's called emotional energy drainage, is what I like to call it. And sometimes you will encounter people in your life that they really like, it's like they don't really care about you unless it's conditional caring, unless you're doing something for them, then that's when they care, you know so I think, as an example, so I think that you really should only give your energy and time to people who their words and actions align, and that they actually do care about you. But many times in my life I've had to change so many things about myself, in order, and see, that's the tough thing, guys, about being a content creator sometimes, is once you get to those levels where you really blow the fuck up, then people sometimes people expect you to be this people pleaser, and you can't be like, at first it's cool to be yourself, but then eventually what happens as you start growing, you start getting bigger. It doesn't always happen, because I can't speak right for all content creators, but like, that's something that I notice, is that for some content creators, as an example, they get to this like certain level of success, and then it's like people expect you to always, like, you have to have that personality like 24/7, and then if you don't maintain that, then what happens is you start to feel energetically drained. This is where, right, you start seeing content creators, right? They make those videos and they're like, hey guys, I'm fucking tired as fuck. Like, I'm emotionally burned out, bro. Like, you start seeing those videos because it's like they've had to maintain this personality and, doing this for so long that you get into your journey, guys, as a content creator, where you may want to start over, where you may want to change your aesthetics and things like that. And then there's a risk with that, especially when social media is your career. So this is the reason why there's been this shift, in my opinion, now, in social media, where influencers and those type of things are becoming things of the past. Like, unless you really are up there, top tier content creator, it's very hard to do this full time. So what a lot of people are doing now is they have a full-time job, as an example, or part-time job, and then they do content creation part-time. And I think, in my opinion, I think that's the best way to go, because there is a lot of emotional pressure to be a full-time content creator, influencer. Now, some people make it work, right? But to maintain, like, especially if you're that kind of content creator where people know you for like your personality or catchphrases and mannerisms and stuff, that's the tough thing, is sometimes those catchphrases, it might change. You may have a new generation that is interested in your stuff, and then maybe your catchphrases are not connecting with that generation. Now your finances are getting fucked up and like all this. So in my opinion now, right, because people are going to do what makes them happy, right, at the end of the day, I feel personally, if you are starting, whether you're a PNG tuber, VTuber, or you're just starting your journey on social media, I personally feel you should try it first part-time, and then if you start to really see traction, like for me, I do my show 3 days a week. This is tough, guys, to do this every day, but it depends on your schedule, right? Some people have more free time than others. But I would say start part-time first with like this type of schedule, 3 days a week, and see what traction you're gaining. Are your videos blowing up and stuff like that? And is it being consistent? Like, are you seeing a consistent growth? And if you're seeing that, then that heightens your chances, right, of having success. But here's the thing about being a content creator, right? This success, guys, can be very unpredictable and can be unstable. Like, one day you're the it person, right? And then the next day it's like, I don't know her. It's like, who is that? Remember so and so? It's like, it's really crazy, guys, how social media trends are now, because it's like you can be on top and then you can just fall from grace, and it's not your fault. It's just, this is some of the reasons why I stay a variety streamer. Because yeah, you can be known for a certain game, but how about that game is not popular anymore? Then you could fall from grace that way. So always have, guys, a backup plan, okay? That's just my insight, okay? Like, always have a backup plan, and then especially if you're older, like you're an older content creator too, you're gonna have a completely different audience than someone who is in their 20s. So these are things you have to, really consider, moving forward. So yeah, that's a good question. Hell yeah. Would you say that sometimes you have trust issues. Yeah, I have trust issues all the fucking time. Cause see, that's what I said, guys. See, this is why bullying is not a good thing. Cause when someone is being constantly bullied, it like for some people, yeah, it can develop into trust issues. Cause it's like, who do you trust? Like, who do you trust when people are treating you like shit? When people are being trashy to you? So it's like you can like the only person you can rely on is yourself. So yeah, I definitely have trust issues. Would you be alright with living alone forever? Now here's the thing, I fucking joke about this all the time with like my friends, my comrades and shit. There are times where I'm like, yeah, I would love to just, live in Tibet somewhere, like just be in Zen, be in peace and stuff like that. But then here's the thing about being human, right? One of the things that's tough about being human is human interaction, right? And that's why social media, right, is big. This is why people like watching live streams and stuff, because when you are a live streamer, right, you're doing it live, you're talking to your audience live, and you feel this connection, right, with your audience because you're talking with them, right? But then the tough thing about human nature is finding those people that you really vibe with, but it has to happen organically. See, that's something that I've learned being an old broad right now, being an old broad, period. Is as you get older, sometimes it does get lonelier because it really, see, the thing I've learned getting along with people, one of the factors you have to consider is your hobbies and interests. And one thing I've learned now, and like this too back in the day was like goth culture. It was a really big thing for like the 20 somethings, for the people who are young, right? But then when you get older, then there's these expectations like, oh, you can't be goth anymore, or like you can't do this anymore. Like you have to change, right? And it's not a change based on your gaining a more emotional intelligence or your life experiences. There's this expectation that, oh, goth is only for the 20 somethings or the younger people. Like that's strange if you're continuing being, doing alternative fashion, you're like over 30. It's kind of funny though. But now, with the different changes, right, in social media, um we're seeing now that there's 30 plus, 40 plus goths in their 60s. So um goth itself is being redefined to also tap into that experience of how is it like being older and you still are into these things that are related to the goth subculture or your alternative, that kind of thing. So to answer the question, I would be okay living alone. I've learned that I've had so many people hurt me in my life, but it is nice to have a sense of community, but it has to be with the right people. Especially as you get older, sometimes people, it's not everyone, but some people want to project like, oh, like because I live my life this way, you should live yours, like how I do. It's like if you drive this car, then you should also drive this car. Like, guys, let me tell you, some people will not associate with you because you're not living the same lifestyle that they are. Okay, that's something that I've learned too. So I rather associate with people who just vibe, and they just like people for who they are. So yeah, I would be okay with living alone forever. Do you always give someone the benefit of the doubt? No, I don't. And I think the reason why it's just because of the shit I've been through. It's really hard for me to like trust people because I've had so many people in my life be like, "Oh yeah, like I'm totally there for you, Oric. Yeah, like I totally got your back." And then when those times would come where they said they had my back, they wouldn't be there, or they would ghost, and stuff like that. So The only way that I give people the benefit of the doubt is if they show consistency with their trust. Like, I know this is someone that, let's say, I can call, talk to them, we have good conversation. They're there for me, I'm there for them, and vice versa. So yeah, I don't give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Do you dislike the sound of your own voice? Now, this one, I would say maybe the last couple years I would have said yes, but now no. My voice is fucking sexy. Hell fucking yeah. No, no, play. Conceited. No, no, I'm stupid. But all jokes aside, my ghoulish friends. No, for a very long time, I did not like my voice. I did not like the bassiness of it. And then of course, like, it ties down. See, this is why, guys, you don't want to bully people. It fucking sucks being the recipient of constant bullying through most of my life, right? Because what will happen is that the things that you should be confident in regards to yourself is the stuff, like, you start to dislike about yourself because of others pointing that shit out that's like bullying you, right? So for me, no, I like the sound of my voice. I like the smoothness, the sexiness of it. But I will say, being a woman and having this type of voice is tough. It's tough because sometimes what happens is some people will joke with you and be like, "Oh, you sound like a man. Yeah, that's how you sound." And it's like, it's like, nah, that's just how my voice is. Because some women just have what they call a deeper resonance in their voice, or there's just a little grit there. But don't worry, guys. Don't worry. To those of you who have been bullied for having a voice that sounds like mine, and you're a woman, trust me, later on, so many people will find that shit sexy. They'll like come up to you and be like, "Hey, could you say something for me? Could you say something real smooth?" And I'm like, "Of course. Anything for you, daddy." No, I'm like, I'm so stupid. But yeah, so I like the way that my voice sounds because I'm what I've been doing, like I've been telling you guys, is I've been going on this shadow work journey of reclaiming the power of my voice and really expressing myself the way that I feel like expressing myself. And guys, just that's the thing I've learned now is you really can't care what people think. Not everybody's gonna like you. And I've learned sometimes the best company is yourself. I know it makes me sound like a dick, but these are things that you learn, like when you don't fit in, you have to learn how to be your best friend. Like, that's the honest gosh damn truth. So yes, I like my fucking sexy ass voice. Bitch. No. Do you like the color blue more than the color black? No, I'm look at me. All right? Black all the way. The more black, the sexier I feel, the more, like, I just like wearing black head to toe if I could all day. But see, now the color black has become trendy. So it's like, let me tell you, golf clothes ain't cheap. That's why I wear this fucking hoodie all the time. No, I haven't showered in 3 days, guys. No, I'm playing. Please shower. No. Yeah, I do like the color black. It's very soothing. It's very, blue is cool too, but yeah, that black, it really just touches my gothic heart. If you found money on the street and knew who it belonged to, would you give it back to them? Hell yeah. Okay, nobody try to catch no case. No play. Nobody try to catch no case. All right, this is not an episode of Matlock. Ba, ba, da, da, da. No. Nobody got time. No, I'm just one of those people. It's like, if I know, something drops on the ground, even if I didn't know the person, I just feel it's the right thing to do. I don't want a ghost fucking following me back and shit. And it's like, oh shit, like, oh, well, here you go. You can give it back to the person. Yeah, that's something I've learned, guys. There is something called karma, and some people call it karma, those type of things. Yeah, this is why I'm no angel, right? But I do my best to be a good person, especially when it comes to stuff like that, because it's like, yeah, I don't want no karma, no, nobody got time to catch a case in this bitch, no, ma'am, no. So yes, I will give it back to them. Are you sure you want the answers you seek? Yeah, so this is saying, like, are you sure about your answers? Yeah, I am. Are you afraid? Oh my gosh, guys, I could not live in some parts of Australia. To those of you who live in fucking Australia, y'all are brave as fuck. Y'all, have you seen the spiders of Australia? You will have arachnophobia for days. Okay, they got some small ones, but then they got some that are big as fuck. Okay, kangaroos are the least of your concerns, like for real. Kangaroos are the least of your concerns. But yeah, Australia is one of those countries where, yeah, them animals, yeah, they got time. One of my favorite videos that I like watching on social media is a guy, I think he did like he was skydiving, and then he was landing with his parachute, and here, like, that kangaroo saw him for like 10,000 feet, and then like wanted to kick his ass like a Jackie Chan Jet Li movie, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, get away from me, you fucking kangaroos. Fucking kangaroos. It's like one of my favorite videos. But yeah, spiders are scary as fuck. So yeah, I don't know. It's like some people have told me they have spiders as pets, and to those of y'all brave as fuck. Like, I see a spider, I'm just like, all right, so I'm gonna let you pass, bitch. I'm gonna let you pass. Ain't nobody got time for that. At least for me. If you knew you would emerge unscathed, would you jump molten lava? Hell nah. No, ma'am. Nobody got time. I'm not sure, guys, if you heard about that shit that went down when that volcano erupted in what? No, it was in Iceland. Did you all see that shit? Nah, lava is not something you can go unscathed. So even if I could, I would not jump that shit. Cause knowing me, some shit would go wrong. It's just like, I commend those people who they climb Mount Everest and shit. Like, that shit can affect your oxygen levels the higher you go up. And if you lucky, the people who have made it to the top, right? The top of Everest is, they say, is one of the most beautiful sights in the world. But I'm gonna leave that shit to Bear Grylls and those people. They're like, 24. They got like six pack abs, and they've been like conditioning to to climb Everest since they were like 14 or something. They've because look, Everest, guys, is not that type of mountain that you can just like, all right, well, let me start climbing. No, you have to condition your body for that shit. And even if you do, there's still a lot of things that you have to consider: your oxygen levels, your health condition, all that shit. And you could be in good health, and I've heard stories about Everest and how Everest, like, it's that mountain that kick your ass. Nobody got time. So nope, not touching that lava. Mm-mm. Would you consider yourself to be fat? Okay, so I'm not fat. I am juicy and thick. I'm like, yeah. See, that's the tough thing, guys, about being fabulous and thick, aka fat. When you're fat, it's like, I don't know. People just tend to be ruder to you. Like, there's no filter when you got some juice. You know what I'm saying? You got some gush gush, as they call it. But yeah, when you plus size, it's like an open invitation to be an asshole. Like, oh, you're fat and you're ugly. Oh, by the way, no one loves you. It's like, well, damn. Well, damn. So yeah, I'm fat as fuck, but I still take showers though. Would you say that you have lots of charisma? No, I don't. I may talk like this, but man, I'm tired as fuck. I just be vibing, guys. Like, I be sleeping more than working out. So it's just because, guys, I've been sick for like years, on and off, for years. And when you're dealing with chronic illness like myself, it's hard to find charisma sometimes. know? Charisma for me is hitting my motherfucking bed. That's an honest gosh damn truth. So no, I don't. Do you ever wish you could be temporarily frozen? Hell fucking no. Okay, ain't nobody got time. No, I'm like, no, that cryogenic stuff, that's what they call it, cryogenics, as an example. You're freezing the body and stuff. Like, that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, and like that's a question I have. Like, what's the guarantee that, you still gonna, be frozen and all of that? So that's the thing you have to think about. Um, but yeah, cryogenics is it's a very interesting area to learn about. So I've been learning about that. I like reading a lot about what they call death and dying studies and things like that. Um, but yeah, I don't think I would be frozen like that. The other thing that people are doing is they want to be buried with a tree, and then they naturally. This is grim, but I'm a goth, so this is normal. But some people, they want to be buried with a tree, and then they naturally like decompose with like the tree or whatever. Like, stuff like that is very yeah, it's interesting. But no, I don't think I want to be frozen. That's expensive as fuck. But to each their own. This is all very interesting. Did you realize that the last letter of the previous 5 questions, when put together, spell the name Satan? No, I did not realize that shit. Does that make you uncomfortable? Hell fucking yeah. No. The Dark Overlord coming for my ass. No. Yeah, that makes me uncomfortable. Are you good at finding hidden puzzles or clues? No, like I was telling you guys, I play hidden object games, and I fucking suck at them to the point where I have to use a hint all the time. For me, guys, and you guys will learn this about me, I have a condition that is called aphantasia. And aphantasia, and some people would say it's not a condition, but I think it is, in my opinion. Living with this, for most of my life. And here's the part that's interesting. I just discovered this recently. So aphantasia is a spectrum. So you have people like myself, where, let's say you close your eyes and then you think of an apple, I just see darkness. So aphantasia is considered, from what I've read, it's considered mental blindness. But then there are people who have hyperaphantasia, where it's like they're visualizing vividly, like, all the time. But one thing I will say, though, aphantasia, though, it makes it difficult to solve puzzles. Um, I always have to like write stuff down. I have to write it down to remember it. Like, I have to write it sometimes multiple times, or do it in repetition, and then sometimes too, I'll forget. So yeah, having mental blindness, guys, is it's not a good time sometimes. But yeah, it's just, to me, I give myself a lot of pats on the back, because to do art and all of this stuff, it's hard when you have aphantasia, because to do things that require imagination and visualization, is rough. But one of the things that, for me, has really helped me, to do what's called, it's called non-visualization. So this is why, for me, my clairs kind of focus more on energetic sensation. So I do talk about, like, spirituality from time to time, because I just think it's a very interesting topic. But for me, I have what's called clairtangency. So it's a clair where you touch things and you can feel energetic sensation. So what I did some research on is I found out that people who have sometimes aphantasia, they tend to be more clairtangent, or they're more clairaudient or clairsentient, because when you don't have a certain sense that's not working, then your other senses kind of come in to compensate for that. So for example, things like meditation is often difficult for some people who have non-visual aphantasia. So to do meditation non-visually, so instead of saying imagine the image of a beach, um, someone who would have aphantasia would have to say to themselves, like, feel the sand on your feet, or what is the sensation of the beach, and you describe it that way. And then eventually when you get better with like meditation, things like that, and everyone who has clairs are considered like spiritual talents and spiritual gifts. um, Eventually, when you get more advanced with meditation, you can start to feel the energy in your body. It's incredible. So yeah, so when you have aphantasia, it does, to tie it back in, it can be tough to um, to do puzzle games and things. So everything I do, I have to have it visually in front of my face. Even when I do art, I'll either have to do like a reference photo, or what often I would have to do is I'll get like color references, and this is what they call intuitive coloring. And I color a lot of grayscale and stuff. You guys will see that I'm a iPad pro creator, Gothic pro creator. I love the program Procreate, obsess.com. But what sometimes I have to do too is, if I'm coloring, right, or if I have the color references in front of me, I will meditate, and then when I meditate, then I'll start thinking about how the colors, how I want them to lay on the page and things like that. So that's like another way that I can't speak, of course, for all people who have aphantasia, but that's one way that some people, we're called aphants. People who are aphant tend to do art is sometimes they go deep with like meditation, or they'll have like a reference photo in front of them and visualize in that way. So really good question though. So I am not good at that shit. Are you now wondering what other hidden messages are placed within these questions? Not really. I'm just enjoying the questions. And watch, there's a jump scare, and I'm gonna like fall. Like, oh shit. Have you been entirely honest with your answers thus far? Yes, I have. Are you afraid of the consequences for answering questions dishonesty? No, because I kept it 100. Were you aware that there could be potential consequences for answering dishonestly? No, I did not. Mm-mm. Are you wondering how these questions began to take a strange turn? Yes, they did. I was like, dang, I thought these would be some basic ass questions. Got me thinking deep and philosophical in this bitch. Would you consider yourself captivating or captivative? I'm not even sure what that means. I'm gonna look up what this means. So, see, that's the other thing, guys, when you have, like, aphantasia, it's like, sometimes there's things I remember because I do it a lot. And then there's other times where I don't remember, and I have to look it up. So let me see what captivating. And see, guys, this is why I feel like it's so important to keep things like a thesaurus with you. Like, I'm gonna get like or like idiom, books, or like synonyms and antonyms and stuff. I like keeping that kind of stuff on me. So if I see a word I don't understand, maybe I'm just a super nerd. But I just like that kind of stuff too, that I know what it means. Okay, so to captivate, or captivated, is past tense. It means to attract or hold interest and attention. I don't have charm at all. I am like the most uncharming person. That's the honest thing. Like most of the time, like when I met, some of my friends and things like that, the first thing they would say about me is they would say, they're just like, you're so gothic and mysterious. You look so broody. You look so broody. But it's not me being an asshole. I just like being in the energy of myself. And this is the thing. There are people out here, guys. They're called empaths. Okay, so empath is EMPAT. Okay, so people who are empathic, and there's different types of empaths. Okay, so for me, I am what's called a clairtangent empath. So I really feel into emotions like that. That's the general definition of an empath, is someone who is really in tune into the energy and frequency of emotions. So when you are that type of person, right? Um you are really highly, 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 highly sensitive to emotions. So this is why, if you notice people who are empathic, they tend to keep to themselves. And it's not them being an asshole. Like, they still will talk to people and vibe and hang out with people. But there may be times where, if you have a friend that's empathic, they'll be like, oh, hey guys, I don't want to hang out this weekend. I'm just gonna, chill by myself, watch a movie or something by myself. And the reason why some empaths will do that, because I can't, of course, speak for all empathic people, right? But some empaths will do that because they gotta recharge their energy. Just being around people, guys, when you're an empath, is energetically draining. It can be a lot. So it can be tough, right? Let's say you have a job where it's what they call people facing job, and you're an empath. Like, you're constantly being absorbed to emotions. So eventually what you learn, like when you learn this about yourself as an empath, you start to learn things that are called grounding techniques. So it's like grounding, and you really start to protect your energy emotionally, right? Because if you're gonna be in like a, let's say, people facing job, for example, you're gonna constantly be dealing with the energy of like people. So eventually you learn how to, like, really ground yourself, so that way you're not feeling overwhelmed. Because for some people, guys, it's really sad. They can feel really overwhelmed um by being empathic. So if you have empathic friends in your life, it's not them being an asshole. They just need some time away from people. That's why I tell people that I need to go into hermit mode, because I just need time, like, away from just human interaction, just to, like, refocus, like, ground, and center myself. So I would not say I'm charming. I don't know. I used to be when I was like younger, but then I think just a lot of people took, like, fun and joy out of my life, so I just stopped being charming, because it was just, for me, it became energetically tiring to always have to be peppy and happy all the time. It's not that I'm a Debbie Downer, as much as I joke about that. um but I don't know, the older you get, the more you want to just protect the energy of your piece, so I wouldn't say I'm captivating. Very interesting. Would you consider yourself to be brave? No. I'm such a fucking coward. Okay, you will not catch me doing no James Bond, like, down, 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 jumping, out of an airplane and shit. Because, see, this is what happens, guys, when you get older, right? So you start thinking about, okay, if I skydive and jump out of this motherfucking airplane, how much will my health insurance be? Okay, like, you know, and then you think about other things too, like, how about I land incorrectly? You know what I'm saying? Because you have to land a certain way when you're skydiving and stuff. They actually teach you that when you go to like skydiving classes and stuff. Yeah, skydiving is no fucking joke, okay? And maybe this is just me from watching a lot of James Bond movies. Like I think there is a James Bond movie where he skydives, right? There's a couple that he does that, and then the fucking parachute doesn't work. That's the reason why I don't do that shit, guys. That's why I don't get on those roller coaster rides. I'm not sure you guys heard those stories of the roller coaster stopped working and then people were hanging upside down and shit. Nobody got time for that. So no, I am not fucking brave. I will leave the bravery to someone else. Okay. Do you view yourself as someone with above average intelligence? Not really. I would just say I am cozy smart. I like reading, and just picking up that knowledge, hit them books a little bit. But I wouldn't say I'm above average intelligence. Like, I'm not like mental level people. Guys, let me tell you, people. Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? We got Vita Yumi. All right, second follower. I appreciate the follow. Thank you. All right. But yeah, I'm not Mensa level. I learned that about Jim Morrison. For those of you who may be into older rock music, Jim Morrison had an extremely high like IQ. Like, yeah, I'm not too bad, not too bad. I'm just chilling, playing this game, The Test. But yeah, it's like he had high IQ. So that's the thing, guys. Sometimes you could that's the thing. That's saying, right? You don't judge a book by its cover, right? Yeah, just vibing. But don't judge a book by its cover, because you never know who got that Mensa level intel. That show, guys. That show is similar to, like, it's like a Mensa kind of question show, similar to like um the Weakest Link or those type of game shows. There was a show that used to be on, I think it was Game Show Network. It was called Win Ben Stein's Money. When I tell you, y'all, that show was the shit, because the questions they were asking, that's like the stuff they put on the Mensa test to like test your IQ and that type of stuff. I couldn't even answer half of those questions, y'all. So this is why I said, guys, knowledge, and this no lie, knowledge is power. Okay, it really is. The more you hit those books and the more knowledgeable you are on a wide range of subjects, that's something I've learned. That's the more you get along with people. But see, there is, oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure. There is too the flip side of that, because this see, I keep it 100 on this show because I've learned a lot of life lessons. So that's why I try to explain this to the next generation, so that way y'all don't make the same mistakes I did, and it fucked up a lot of my life, right? So when you have this knowledge, right, and you're obtaining it, oh, it looks cool though. Yeah, it looked good, right? Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love the cup. Such a good time. Um, yeah, but as soon as I saw the design, I just knew it was right for me. Um, but yeah, when you have that type of intelligence too, guys, there's a flip side to it, right? It's like that. I'm not sure you guys know that anime Full Metal Alchemist, right? The equivalency of exchange, right? No, I didn't make it myself. Actually, I had there was I got it from someone who designed it. I wish I was that talented. I wish I was that talented. Um, but overall, yeah, it's pretty cool. It looks good. But yeah, overall, guys, yeah, there's a flip to that. You know, that equivalency of exchange where, you know, it's like you get something and then, you know, you can lose something in return. So to kind of tie it in. So let's say, for example, right, you got that wisdom, you got that knowledge, because knowledge is power. But sometimes when you have that knowledge, then there are other people that it shouldn't be this way, because we all have gifts and talents, right, that we bless with. But then sometimes when you have this knowledge, then other people want to knock you down because of it. So always remember, guys, you got to really understand people before you open up to them. Okay, especially when you got that wisdom that really people can connect to, or they relate to, or it's knowledge even yourself, you know, that helps you to feel confident, helps you to feel strong, because there are some people that will try to knock you down. Okay, because of that knowledge and wisdom, because some people just want to be at the top, right, and they don't want anybody else. That crab in the bucket mentality, right? You know, when one crab try to get out of the pot, they're like, no, bitch, you know. But that's the honest truth, guys. So you have to be wise when you have that type of intelligence. And then you also have to understand when you in those type of circles, right? Like Mensa, or like you go into Harvard, Stanford, MIT, like those type of places too. You know, you may have camaraderie, but you may have other people who may not like that camaraderie that you have with others. So protect that knowledge, guys. Protect your energy. Like on 100 for that. Oh, I should start talking about motivation and wisdom. Yeah, I really should. I love talking about stuff. That's why I started with this series, because it really teaches you that. Like, you learn about your psyche, you learn about yourself. So yeah, I wouldn't say above average intelligence, you know. All right. Have you been looking for hidden messages in these questions? No, I have not. Are you wondering which hidden messages you may have missed? Oh, it's probably going to say something real crazy. First, it was Satan. We'll see what happens here. All right. Have you begun to wonder how long this test will take, or how many questions will exist? Yeah, this is a long ass test. Like, would you consider yourself a patient person? Ooh, this is a tough question though. Okay. Um. Hmm. See, I'm selectively patient though, cause like if I'm hungry, oh, I'm impatient as fuck, right? But if it's something that I know requires patience, then I will be patient, because that's just how it is, right? So I would say no, because like, you know, sometimes like there's things where I'm like, okay, this is taking too long. Like, sweet baby Jesus. Like, you know, do most humans annoy you? Unfortunately, yes. I know this whole stream makes me sound like a dick, you know. I'm not trying to be a dick, but this is stuff you learn about human nature, guys, as you learn, you know, about life. You really start to realize that some people will be selectively nice with you, for example, because there's something they want out of you. Okay, but you still can't live your life thinking like, you know, everybody trying to like come at you sideways, because then that's tough too, because then that's where a lot of people feel lonely and they feel isolated, right? You know, so this is something I'm, you know, working on myself, is starting to like communicate. You know, have people skills. You know, I'm trying. But yeah, most people, I will say, do annoy me on the condition though. Okay, I don't think that I'm not one of those people where I'm like everybody sucks, you know. um but on the condition for me is, I like being around people, right, where their words and actions align. Like, you practice what you preach. So, for example, if you say like, "Oh, I like anime," right? And then I hear a conversation with you and someone else, and you're like, anime sucks. It's like, hold on. Like, did you say you liked anime? So, did you just say you like anime just to be cool with these people? Like, see, that's the tough thing, guys, about being around people is it's like who can you really trust? You know what I'm saying? Like, who can you really trust? So, I think I'm just one of those people that I like to observe. You know, like, are you practicing what you preaching? Like, if you say you like anime, that you being consistent with that. Okay, and this is not the, where some people, they're like, you have to prove, like, what type of anime do you watch? Like, like that kind of thing. No, holidays were all right. I was sick as fuck though. Like, guys, let me tell you, right now there's a lot of winter virus and all this stuff going around. So please be careful. Please be careful. Okay, and then guys, I have to tell you the funniest story here. Um, I had, and this is all true, guys. This was so crazy. I was telling a friend of mine about that. Yeah, it was awful. So please be careful, guys. Okay, this is something I'm gonna have to do a separate episode on. Okay, like, I completely understand, right? We're gonna talk about farting, so viewer discretion is advised. But guys, recently I had someone fart in my face, and when I tell you guys that fart was so atomic, that's why I look like this. No. Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, for sure. But this person farted in my face, y'all. And it was a juicy ass fart. It was the worst fart. Okay, so here's my thing. Okay, and this is not me being bitchy, but if you have to fart, like if you have an atomic ass fart, right? Just fart in the other direction. Like, fart. Just fart in the other direction. Cause don't get me wrong, I understand. Sometimes you gotta pass gas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it happens. You know. But man, when I tell you guys that fart hit my face, I thought about life. You know what I'm saying? It was like a reflection fart. it was like a reflection fart. It was a reflection fart. So I'm telling y'all, like, I'm telling. This is why, guys. Some people. This is why, guys. I understand why there's a market for stuff like, they got this stuff called poopery. You spray it in the toilet or something and make. And that's the other thing too. When you go to some of these public restrooms, right? And you see the toilet, you would not go to your grandma's house or anybody you care about and do the toilet dirty like that. Okay, and I understand mistakes, accidents happen. Okay, I totally get that. But make sure you are equipped to clean it up at least or flush it. So this is what I be doing, guys. If I have to go to a public restroom, okay? Side tangent. I make sure I flush that toilet twice. I flush it twice just to make sure. Okay, and then I do carry like a potpourri or fragrance because you never know. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there. Okay. So do most humans annoy me? Yes, because of stuff like this. No, I'm playing. But yeah, they just be farting in your face, man. Sure. That fart was a reflection fart. That's why my face looked like this. No play. Oh my gosh, sweet baby Jesus. All right. So yeah, most people annoy me because of that. They be farting in your face. Like, what the fuck? All right. Do you prefer animals to people? Yes. And here's why. Not me being an asshole, guys, but I just connect with animals more. One of my one of my dreams would be to hug a capybara. I love capybaras, man. Capybara. Oh, love that song. Capybara. Like, they're the best. The reason why I like capybaras, though, is they got this, like, stoic, menopausal, constipated face, right? And, you hug them and then you feel the love. Like, you know, I've seen videos of like people hugging capybaras and they're like, for something so stoic, man, there's love right there. But okay, so all right, so Yumi is saying you should try to invest in your channel, like to get some panels, banner overlays to give more good look to your channel. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I'm gonna work on it, guys, because let me tell you, as you know, things have, I don't know, gone up in price. Okay. And yeah, so one of the things, and this is Oryx streamer tip of the day, you may have to, and I thank you for that suggestion, I really do appreciate it. You may have to kind of split up what is important for you. So if you're a VTuber or PNG tuber, right, I would say start with basic graphics, right? And eventually, as you grow, because you don't know if you're going to grow or not. Okay? You don't know if you're going to grow or not. So that's why I started really basic, and then I'll see like where my growth is. Like if I start grateful, you know, blowing up and shit, oh yeah, and them graphics gonna look good as fuck. Do you have like a website or something like that? So that I can, you got, you know, stuff you want me to check out. Yeah, but if you have a website, that would be great. Um, but yeah, I'm still working on that, you know, Discord, all that kind of stuff. I gotta, you know, figure all this stuff out. You know, I'm still noob to this shit. You already know. But yeah, I prefer animals to people though, because I be vibing with animals. Like I be hugging them and they be hugging me, and yeah, I prefer animals to people. Not to be a dick though. Excuse me. Do you believe in magic? Hell fucking yes. And this is why, guys, okay? So, oh, okay, so you do have like a Twitter or an X? Okay, yeah. Give me the link for that, cuz I like to check that out. I appreciate you, you know, looking out. I appreciate that. But do you believe in magic? Yes, I do. Okay, and this is why, guys. Okay, um, when it comes to like spirituality and things like that, there are spiritual practices that have been around for centuries. So, to give an example, you have the Quiro shamans. You know, like shamanism, like them Quiro shamans from like Peru and places like that. They have, you know, studied you know, all types of like herbal medicine, plant medicine, um, for years, you know, and they are just some of the most talented, you know, practitioners in the world. Um, and for me, I definitely believe, you know, that magic, it is real, you know. And then the other reason why this kind of reinforces that is when you learn about like shamanism and stuff like that, and you start training to be a practitioner, you actually have to take these things. They're called like shamanic oaths, you know. And depending on what lineage that you're a part of or path that you're a part of, like it's a huge responsibility to take on those I would say oath. You know, it's just like for those of you guys who are interested in like Norse shamanism, you know, that type of stuff. You like when you take a shamanic oath, it's something that, you know, you really have to think about and take seriously, because it is a serious commitment. So yeah, I'll have to check you out. So let me yeah, I'll make sure I check that X, as they call it, that Twitter. So let me put that in my notes here. Cool, cool. Let me do that. Do that here. All right, cool. But yeah, magic is no joke. Like it's no joke. It's a huge responsibility to be a practitioner, no matter what path you follow. But that's one thing I will say, guys. Research, research, research. It's very important to, understand your lineage. You may have to check things like your ancestry and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that magic very real for my ass. Like that's the T right there. No, but uh, all right, let's see. Ooh, oh, this is getting spicy now. All right, do you believe in God or the existence of a higher power? Okay, so when it comes to this, right? So some people say God, other people say higher power. In shamanism, depending on your lineage, they would say spirit. Um, other people, there's all types of terms because it just depends on your path. But yeah, I do believe there is, or they say the universe, stuff like that. The ancestors, yeah, I definitely believe in that. Um, because it's like when you have, if you're a spiritual baddie, you have things that happen in your life where you're just like, dang, like, you feel really blessed. Like you feel gratitude and gratefulness. Like that's the first thing you learn when you have a spiritual walk. Um, is you have to learn gratitude and gratefulness because you first study and learn about like your ancestry. They call it ancestral veneration. So you learn about where you come from, and then as you learn about that, then you start feeling the connection to your roots. um, and then for some people, they say they feel, the connection to nature, the connection to their ancestors. So yeah, I definitely believe that. Yes, I definitely do. Do you fear death? Now, the reason why I say no, right, is because, and this is, something I'm actually, currently learning about, because I love learning about like death and dying studies and like stuff like that. um what you learn mainly is that, yeah, death is a part of life, right? And this is why you have to appreciate, right, the things that you have and the things that you're able to do. Because at the end of the day, right, life is not easy. Because if life was easy, everybody would have that blueprint, right? The blueprint would be easy, right? But I would say, maybe, and this is just something that comes with, you getting older and stuff like that. You realize that, yeah, you should focus on celebrating life, but you recognize that, death is part of that. Death is something that, everyone, grief, those type of things, everybody will experience that in their lifetime. So that's why I don't fear death, because you understand that death is a part of life, and that the best thing you can do is you appreciate the life that you have with gratitude. Because that there's a saying that I saw once that says, yeah, tomorrow is not guaranteed. And when I heard that, that really made me appreciate life more. And even some of my favorite, entertainers and people I really looked up to, they gone. Like, and they died before 60 or 70 years old. So, I don't fear death, because it's like whenever your time is, that's when it is. And that's, that's just how I see it. But that's just me. I don't fear it. Let's see. Are you a true? Now we getting messy, ho. Oh no. Are you attracted to someone whom you're not currently in a relationship with? Oh, juicy. Okay, so, oh my gosh, I'm such a whore. No, honestly, yeah, there is someone that I like, but I still would not go there. Cause see, that's that shit that'll put you in that Jerry Springer territory. For those of y'all who remember that show, Jerry Springer and Maury and all that, that's what happens. Is, if you start acting on attraction to someone you not in a relationship with, it can get dicey. So this is just, something I would say is, if you like someone, always make sure to find out that they not taken. Okay, so that way your heart doesn't get broken. Because see, we're living in a dating climate now where some people will be wolves in sheep's clothing and they will not tell you the honesty of their situation. And you definitely don't want to be in that kind of, like, let's say, toxic baby daddy, toxic baby mama, situation, because that's doing a disservice to you. And then that person may feel it's okay to energetically drain you and keep dragging you into more and more foolishness. So before you get, and this is my opinion now, before you get romantically involved with someone, find out what that situation is. Also find out why are they not with someone right now? Why, did they break up with their previous partner and stuff? Because if they honest, they will tell you the tea. Because if someone really cares about you, they will be transparent like a fart. Transparent like a fart. Okay. So yeah, I would say, yeah, I do like someone that I'm not currently in a relationship, but I would not go there because dating is a dumpster fire. So you gotta be careful, guys. This dating climate, it is different now. It's really different. And then that's the other thing. My next tip for you guys, is be aware of how you talk about your relationship status on social media. You really gotta be aware about that, because some people like to stir that pot. You know what I'm saying? Some people like to gossip and just create unnecessary drama in your life. So if you interested in someone, you really need to find out. Make sure, because if you guys want to see what I'm talking about, watch some Lifetime movies. Okay, you watch some of them Lifetime movies, like, The Other Woman, a Lifetime movie. It's like, oh shit, like, I don't be the other woman. Well, I mean, some people fine with that, but I wouldn't, because if that other person finds out, then they could make your life a living hell. Nobody got time. Did you answer that question? Yes, I did. Okay, so are you alone? Okay, so man, that's a tough ass question. Okay. Now that's the other thing too, guys, is if you are traveling, okay, this is something I wanted to talk about here. If you are traveling, okay, and you doing something called solo traveling, I have seen so many videos where people are like, oh yeah, I'm solo traveling, I'm by myself. Do not tell people that you are by yourself. Okay, you need to think about your safety. We living in a different world. Okay, so do not tell people that you are alone. Cause I see that all the time. Oh, I'm solo traveling. Don't tell people that you by yourself. Okay, we living in a different world, boo. So if you are solo traveling, do not tell people, or even in general, okay, if you live by yourself, do not tell people that you live alone. That is not a good idea. Okay. So if that's the way they answer the question, like, you don't want to be so lonely where, you don't have connections or people, you can connect with. So I'm going to say no on that. If I told you with the utmost certainty that there's something watching you, would you believe it? Probably not. Have you wondered who I am? Yeah, I wondered that. I was like, what the fuck? Have you had any shivers at this point during the session? No. Do you feel like you're being watched? No. Have you considered quitting this session early? No. Do you drink water? Yeah, this is something I need to do. Guys, let me tell you, water is so energetic. One thing you guys will learn about me as well is I'm into what they call Reiki. But yeah, I'm studying to be a Reiki practitioner. And one of the things that you learn in Reiki is the importance of the energy within all of us, and taking care of that energy. So many ways to take care, right, of your energy is working out, eating the right food, those type of things. And this is something I need to do more, is paying attention to drinking water, because water has a frequency to it. And they've done a lot of research on it too about the energetic properties of water. So I see why it's important to drink water. But everybody too has their water like drinking limits too. So that's something that I'm learning too is there's like a formula that I have to figure out of how much water you're supposed to drink in a day. So I should be drinking more though. Do you eat at least once per day every day? So I actually eat 2 meals a day. And this is why um because like I used to be an overeater where I would just be like eating, and I think that's what resulted in my weight gain. So now that I'm losing weight now little by little, because see when you have PCOS it can make it tough for you to um to lose weight. So I try to eat twice a day, so at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, and then I have a little snack in between. But I don't eat as much like I used to, because I noticed I was getting a lot of like rapid weight gain, and I think it was because I wasn't eating the proper stuff to nourish my body. So that's something that's really important. Even myself is getting a nutritionist and people that understand like if you got autoimmune, your thyroid conditions, those type of stuff. And once again, I'm not a doctor, so this is not medical advice, but yeah, taking care of yourself like that is important. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there, guys, because I gotta head off for the day, do my damn thing. You already know. But thank you so much, guys, for watching today's live. Of course, I am live Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, so you're gonna get me twice because we're gonna finish this game. We're gonna find out what's gonna happen in this bit. But no, I thank you so much, guys, for the follows, just watching. I appreciate you guys, and like I always say, remember to embrace the creative chaos. Oh. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, guys. Bye for now.